There's something in common in every term. A 4, and I think, is that the biggest? Yeah, I think 4. So I can take out a 4. And is there, in fact, I'm going to put this. Okay. And then look at your A's. Is there an A in every single one of them?
Yes.
Yes. So I can take, what's the biggest A that I can take out?
24.
A. Okay. So let's see what I'd have left if I multiply it back. 4 times A times what would give me 24A to the third?
8.
6A squared. Very good. Again, this type is going to be on your test. Plus 4A times what will give me 12A squared back?
3A.
3A. I hope you did it yesterday, Joel. Your problems are going to be very identical.
It's not Joel.
Joel? Okay. All right. Then on this one, who knows what this last one's going to be? 4A times 2 will give me that. So you're going to have up to this type on the test. Again, your test, which is probably going to be on Friday, will be everything that was on the review from yesterday. And I'm going to check it off and then give it back to you in a little bit. But then, okay, Armando, I need you to focus. But now, and most books have this type of factoring in another chapter. We're going to separate it into 2 different tests. Hold on a second, I can't hear you. Do you have the worksheet? Okay. All right. This is a totally different type of factoring. For example, if you look at this, is there anything in common in all 3 of those? Look at these. Is there anything in common in all 3?
They're all positives.
Well, they are all positives. But is there a number that I can take out of each of them?
Yes.
1, but we usually don't take out 1. Is there an X in every single one of them? No. So this is not factorable like the way we did. So this is a little bit different. You may need a piece of paper. So if somebody in your front row, if you want to get a couple sheets for you and the person behind you, because you probably will need to take a few notes on this. All right. So for the first time, okay, X, okay, shh. So X squared plus 9X plus 20. Okay. This is a special kind of factoring that I'll try to show you. Matthew, I need you to get focused. This is totally, totally new. All right, so this is the kind that you're going to end up having a binomial times a binomial that will give you this. In fact, we did a binomial times a binomial. You should have showed your work yesterday on those. I'm seeing people without any work at all, and you had to set up some of those binomials as a box to do it. So I don't know how successful you're going to be on the test because this was your review. Okay. All right. So who knows what I could multiply? What times what would give me X squared? What times it? Because on this first term, it's going to come from here and here. It's to be the first and the first. It would be, somebody just said it. X times what? X. X times X. No, not in the middle of this. Okay, I need you to stop talking while I'm talking. You're being so disrespectful. It's unbelievable. All right, so again, on this one, and this is a special kind when it's adding, I need 2 numbers that can multiply together to give me a 20. Well, I'm going to start with 1, and you should write this down. You should write down the factors right now of 20. So 1 times 20. Write them all down, and you're going to see how I get my final answer. What's the next factor? 2 times what would also give me 20? 2 times what? 2 times 10. Who knows another way that I could get 20? 4 times 5. And if you do them all in order, once I have 4 times 5, there's nothing left to check. So this, it could be either. It could be a 1 times 20. It could be a 2 times 10. It could be a 4 times 5. Well, how you determine, I mean, I know these factors are correct, but how you determine is you look at the middle one. Because this is a plus, we're going to sum the factors to get 9. We sum the factors to get 9. Can you look at all these factors and see what they come to? If I add these, this comes to 20. If I add these two, it comes to 12. If I add these two, it comes to what? If I add these two, it comes to what?
I think it's 2 times 10 is 12.
We're summing them.
We're summing them.
Should that be 21?
And 10 plus 2.
No, 1 plus 20.
First one.
Okay, Joel, I think you just need to stop talking and listen. I need you to stop and listen. But he is right. This is, the sum is 21. Okay. And this one is 12. 4 plus 5 is what? Is 9. Now, look at our middle number. What is the middle number? So the factors for this one is going to be this. It is going to be, you're going to put a 4 here. You're going to put a 5 here. Since this is positive, it means that both of the signs will be the same. Okay. It'll mean both of the signs will be the same, and they're both going to be positive. So it's going to be this, such that if I checked and I did my box, if I did x4 and x5, x times x is x squared, 4 times x is 4x, this one here is 5x, and this is 20. So if I pull this out, this would be my original product. So this is the product. We're looking for the two numbers or the two binomials that gave us that. And I'm going to try to do this by a box method in just a moment. But this one then, my answer is, here it is going to be x plus 4, x plus 5. And we're only going to do the ones, I think, today, yeah, where the last number is a plus. And somebody better put their phone away. All right, so on this one, so I'm going to do the number 13. So again, I'm not going to write down, well, maybe I should, because you probably need some notes. X squared minus 20x plus 9. Is that plus 19? Yeah, plus 19. So the first thing I'm going to do is, again, this is the first, this is the last, which means my two first need to multiply to give me x squared. Can you see what's going to give you x squared? What times what will give me x squared? X times what?
X plus x. Or x times x.
All I want is the first term.
X.
Oh.
X times x. That will give me x squared. So I know that's correct. And then there's no, actually on this one, what's the only way? I need the factors, something times something that will give me 19.
1 and 19.
1 and 19. In fact, on 19, that's the only possible way. Such that that sum, so here's the factors, here's the sum. The sum comes to, what's 1 plus 19?
1.
Is 20. Does that equal that middle number?
Yes.
Yes. So here's the difference. This positive means my signs are the same. So they have to be both, they either have to be positive, positive, or they have to be negative, negative. Okay. Who thinks what it's going to be, or what it should be, if my middle term comes to a negative 20?
Negative.
They should both be negative. So it's going to be this one. So it's going to be, this one is going to be negative 19, negative 1. And if you're doing it this way, then all you need, and Joel, you should write down some notes. All right, so if I'm doing it this way, I already know visually I can see x times x is my x squared. I could see negative 9, my last, times my last. Negative 19 times negative 1 is positive. So the only one that you really need to check is the inside, which is the negative 19x, and the outside. Negative 1 times x is negative 1x. And that does sum to the negative 20. So that is the factorization of that trinomial. So go ahead and put that right here. Oh, x minus 19. Again, we're only doing one with pluses at the end. So go down to the number, we'll do two, the 14 and the 15. Right. So on the number 14, oh, I'm so sorry. All right, so on the number 14, it is x squared minus 11x plus 24. Again, you need to have a system. Joel, I need you to focus. So again, there's nothing that I can factor out. There's not an x in common. There's not a number in common. So it's probably going to be, it was the product of two binomials. So do we know the first term? What's going to give us x squared? Is what? X times x. And then now we have the problem, and here's where you should take some notes. So again, it is going to be, I'm going to look for the factors of 24 and start with 1. Joelle, I need you to focus. Okay, you should write something down here. So this is going to be 1 times 24. What's another factor of 24? Start with 2. 2 times what? 2 times 12, another one, 3 times 8, and 4 times 6. Okay, then you look at this sign. This means that you're going to sum the factors, and that sum of the factors should come to 11. Can you look at the sum of all of these and see which one comes to 11?
3 and 8.
This one here. So that is your combination. So it's going to be a 3 here and an 8 here. Now, my signs have to be the same, but how am I going to get a negative 11 when I check the inside and the outside? 3 times x is 3x, 8 times x is 8x, but what should those signs be for it to come up to be a negative 11x?
Minus.
They should both be negatives. So this is a negative, and this is a negative.
Is that the answer?
So this is your answer right here. This was the two factors that make this product if I multiplied that back. So that is going to be x minus 3 and x minus 8. Alrighty, so I'm going to start from right here. We're looking at the number 15. So here's my first, and that's 64. The last should give me, when I multiply those, a 64. So the first term should be easy. What's going to give us an x squared? A what times a what? An x times an x. And then there's lots of combinations for this one. So I would take the time to factor it out, to have the notes, so when you're doing it on your own, you'll know how to do it. You're going to find the factors of 64, and by the way, this means that they have to sum to be a 20. So later on, you're going to pick it up a lot faster. So one of them is 1 times 64. Does that sum to 20? No. That sums to, and then you're going to have 2 times 32. And I know my numbers, because this is so big, the numbers probably have to be closer. That sums to 34. What's another one? 3 times something? 3 goes into that. 2. Oh, 3 doesn't even go into that. So 4. I think it is 4. 4 times 16. What does that sum to? That sum to the 20. So we can stop. We don't have to go any further. So my factors then are 4 and 16. And then, again, I know this at the end tells me 2 things. It tells me that my signs are the same, and I have to sum to get that middle term. Well, who knows what the signs are going to be?
Negative.
They're going to be negative, such that when I do the inside and I check the outside, negative 16x, that it will come up to that negative 20x. And so that's the factors. These are the factors. Joel, if you want to go ahead real fast. Go ahead and use the rest of my feed. All right. Then again, we're not going to do the ones with the negative at the end because these get a little tricky. And so we'll worry about that tomorrow. Okay. So let's do the number 17. Oh, 17 should be super easy. So 17 should be super easy because both of the signs are positive, so I know that these are both positive. Who thinks they know what the front term is?
1 or x.
X. X. X. And then remember the factors of 16 have got to sum to 17. It's going to be 1 and 16. Good job. Yes, ma'am.
Is that why you opened the door?
That's why we have it open.
I will turn down the AC to make it cold.
Thank you. Okay. So this is going to be 1 times 16. So you're getting to the point that you can see, oh, it couldn't be 4 times 4 because 4 and 4 is 8. So again, these have to sum to be that. So that is done such that if I made a box, I know x times x is my first term, 1 times 16 is my last term, and checking the inside and the outside, it would come to a positive 17. So that's pretty easy. Then let's go to the number 18. So we can actually start it. Who thinks they know what the first term is going to be? It's going to be x. X times x. And then we can also tell something else. Matthew, get focused. We can also tell something else. The end sign says that the signs are going to be the same, and we're going to sum them to get the middle. If the signs are the same, who happens to know, look at the other one, who knows what the signs are going to both be?
Negative.
They're both going to be negative. Because it's going to be negative times a negative is a positive, and we're going to sum those, and it's going to come to that negative 15. So now here's where we probably need to make a chart, because they've got to sum to a 15. And if they sum to 15, the numbers are relatively close, but maybe not that close. So I'm going to do my factors, the factors of 54, which is 1 times 54, and the sum of those is really far off. So then I could do 2, but I know it's probably going to be far off again. 26, it's still far off, that's 28. But I'm getting closer to that 15. Does 3 go into 54?
It would be 27.
2 times 27? But 2 times 27. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was, you're right. Okay, so but it's going to be 30, it's going to be 29. So it's still not the sum that we need. So does 3 go into that? You need to know your rules of divisibility. Does 3 go into 54? Yes, because 5 and 4 add up to be 9. So 3 into 54 is 1. Is that going to be, what is it? 18, 3. Okay, so that's 3 times 18. And does that sum to 15?
No.
That sums to, so I bet it's the next one. because we're getting closer. Does 4 go into that? I don't think so. Well, oh. Is it, what is 9 times what? I should have seen it.
Oh yeah, 9 times 6.
And that's it. Okay, so sometimes, you know, as you're going through the process, you're going to see, wait a second, I'm way far off. I can maybe jump ahead. Nope, that's still far off. And then we finally have it. So that is 15. So it is going to be, my factors are this. So it's going to be a -6, and it doesn't matter in which one you put it. You could have the -9 or the -6. Such that if we multiply it again, we get the -6 times -9 is 54. X times X is this, and you always have to check your inside and your outside. Let me see.
Right here, academic.
What's that? 11. 8th grade, okay. All right, let me see if these are hard. We're maybe going to do.
How about we just do the front page?
Okay, Joel, it's going to be easier than that. So just...
Oh, come on.
I'll Herbert.
Okay, girls and boys, settle down. Okay, you're in a classroom. Let's act like you want to learn something. All right, so flip it over to this side.
Okay, I need this one.
And I do want to see your work. I don't just want answers. I need to see, you'll have to use your line paper. Yes, sir.
Can we do an experiment on like whether we do it one by one and like see which one makes us faster?
I don't know what you're saying. Let's go ahead. I need to see some work. So on number 18, go to number 18. So on number 18, I know to begin with, how are we going to get x squared?
2 X's.
Okay, so it's going to be an x times an x. Who knows what the signs are going to be? They have to be the same. And you're right, because this middle one is a positive, it's going to be a positive, positive. And then I need to find the factors of 60, such that, again, this means that they sum to 19. So they're not going to be that close together, like 1 times 60 is not going to be that. 2 times 30 is 32. It's too big. What's the next one is 3 times what? 3 will go into that how many times?
Wait, what? Why am I 20?
3 will go into that 3 times 20, which we're getting closer. That sums to 23. We've got to get to 19. So what should we try next? 4. 4, and there it is right there. And later on, you're going to pick them up a little bit faster. So my factors are 4 and 15, that they come to 19. Okay. So the factors are going to be 4 and 15. And I need to see some work, some factoring that you did to get them. Oh, and by the way, this, though, is not just 60, it's a 60y squared. So who knows what I need to tack onto these?
Y squared.
Not a y squared, but a y and a y. So that's the only difference on this. You'll have that. So let's go ahead and find our answer. And that came from which one?
18.
It's the letter R. So go ahead and cross this out and put that this came from the, please number this. So I know, because we don't have room to write the whole answer out. So you can keep the work on your paper, but number this. So we'll do another one of those. In fact, let's look at the number 16. Okay. All right, the number 16. So let's look at this one carefully. So on 16, who knows my first term? What's going to be my first? is going to be x. X times x will give us x squared. But now here's where I should see a little bit of work on your paper. I need to find the factors of 12 that will add up to 7, and after a while you're going to get it right away. But I want you to pretend that you didn't have the mixed up answers, because some of you tend to look at your mixed up answers and say, oh, well, that's it. No, you're not going to have mixed up answers on a test, so you need to make sure you know how to do it. So the factors of 12 is 1 times 12, which is 13. And it is 4 times 3. 4 times 3 was, and again, as you do this more and more, you're going to get to it a lot faster. So, but on that one, we have a 12y squared. So is it just 4 and 3? So it's going to be 4 what? 4y times 3y. And the signs are both going to be what?
Negative.
They're both, there's no negatives in it.
Positive.
They're both going to be positive. And then find your answer. We'll do maybe 2 more there. And that one is that the letter I? Yeah. So go ahead and put that. That was, we just did the number 16. Okay. And we'll do, yes, sir. Yeah, so just, okay. So let's go ahead and do the one right above it, the number 15. So we know our first term is going to be a what and a what? How are we going to get x squared? So x times x. Now the 40, you need to show me that you find 2 numbers. And again, because it's a plus here, it means they're going to sum to 13. So put your factor chart of 40, which is 1 times 40. And I can see 40, we're far away from it. So who knows another one? 2 times 20, we're getting close. 3 doesn't. Does 4 go into that? 4 times 10, which is 14. We're getting close. And 5 times 8 is 13. Is that what we need? That's what we need. So they have to sum to 13. So that is your factor. Again, you should be writing this on your lined paper. You can't just go down to the puzzle. Yes.
Did you know that on my test scores for the NWEA, I had a high growth rate and a high achievement rate?
I didn't know that, but I'll look at them. Congratulations. All right, so let's go ahead and put that down. So remember, the last term has a y squared. So it's not going to be just 5, it's going to be 5 what? 5y and an 8y. And then our sign, look carefully here, but they have to sum to a negative 13. How can these two sum to a negative 13? What do these signs have to be? They have to both be negative. So x times x is my x squared, negative 5y times negative 8y is my positive 40y, and if I sum the inside and the outside, it's going to come to a negative 5xy and a negative 8xy. And so that one is the number 15, so I can cross this off and find that answer.
Can you do the rest?
Yes, you're going to do the rest. And that is number 15. Okay, so girls and boys, what you're going to do is just this worksheet.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, that is it. So
Thank
you
you.
may begin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What time is it?